on this JC Higgins 22. Damn headphone out of the way. Flat head. Screwdriver will remove the butt plate. Flathead will allow you to get in there. You'll need a long one. Guys, I'm going to say it again. Go to Amazon and buy the ebook Benghazi, a definitive report from Brandon Webb. If you buy it in the ebook format, you'll get updates as they find new information out. If you want to know what's going on with the whole Benghazi deal, this is the place to find out. They will tell you everything you are not being told on the regular news. This is a dirty one. Let's get the bolt out. Slide it back, and then the bolt will tilt down. You're still under spring pressure here. And whenever you do that, allows that to come up and out of there, and it's going to leave your charging handle behind. This is actually what was left of the charging handle, but the charging handle sits in there like that. What I'm curious about here, that actually looks like a nail. Man, that really looks like a nail. I don't think it is though. But it sure looked like one. What made me think it's not a nail is the head. We're going to get firing pin out. Got a pin here. I don't know if you can tell the size difference between there and there, but you're going to have to drive it out from the bottom forward, from the bottom to the top. Hold your thumb over there because it is spring loaded. Firing pin. Spring. Go ahead and get our ejector out as well, and we'll push it from the bottom to the top. Extractor spring, gummed up and gunked up. Pin. We're going to go ahead and pull the trigger group apart, make sure everything's in good shape on it. This roll pin is already loose just by hand. It was about to want to fall out, so we may be replacing that. This is the way this clamshell little setup is. This is the forward area. I'll show that in a little bit more detail whenever we go to put it all back together. Now, down in here, you've got that spring. That spring is going to fit into that notch there. Spring there. I'm not sure if you guys saw that 100%, so I'll redo it again. See right there, you got a spring. Got that spring. Rotate around. This pin here has been staked on both sides. I'm not going to bother taking it out. Something I want to show you. Do you all see how it looks like that pin is crooked? Looks like that pin is running at a crooked angle. Everything else looks pretty straight. I don't really have any explanation for that, or any way to explain it. I guess that's the same thing. I don't have any explanation for that or any way to explain it. Take it, click my safety off. This right here, I actually wasn't going to take it out yet, but either way, this is what that spring went on. You can go ahead and pull it up and out of there. That actually is going to touch on your sear right down there. That's your trigger bar, so to speak. Move the sear out of the way. Didn't mean to let that go, but I did. That'll be alright. Let's get the hammer and hammer spring. Alright, we want to remove the hammer spring here. Get your pair of needle nose or whatever. I'll slide right in here, in between the hammer and the ledge on your hammer spring guide. Sorry, let me get these turned around. Just like that. And you can I just squeezed and walked it a little bit. And you'll see here in a split second why that's possible. I'm going to get this pin out. See that notch right there? Little notch. That was responsible for engaging that pin there on the hammer. And to the best of my knowledge, there's not a clearly marked top and bottom on that. It is going to have its natural wear, since this is not a new gun. And so I'm going to scribe a mark on the top. What I'll do is I'll just take a file. I'm just going to, actually I'll scuff the bottom. There. I have a mark on the bottom and I don't have one on the top. Now we have our sear and our hammer left. We can get those out. Go ahead and get our hammer out next. That's our hammer pin. Hammer should come straight out. Now you've got the pin that's left in there, and that was just for your spring and spring guide to catch on. You don't need to remove that really. Now you look down in here, we've got our safety and our sear mechanism left. Right there's our actual sear. And it's got its sear spring wrapped around it. You see right here, that's where the sear spring attaches at. Just by hand, I'm pushing this pin through. Now I want to show you that this pin is there's some like pins, and I'm going to go ahead and measure this. It's 94, 94. Alright. Your sear pin is common with one of your other pins that's on there. It's actually going to be the pin that goes through this hole right here. They're basically the same pin. So you know, it's whatever you want to do. You want to keep them separate? Great. Keep like where they still made up and mesh real well. You can go ahead and do that. I recommend it. Trying to get my sear out. And that's the sear. That is the mating point with the hammer that makes or breaks your trip, your trigger pull. And that's how it goes on there. Put those off to the side together. We'll undo our trigger pin. Trigger pin's going to take a little bit of fun here. That one looks to be pretty long. Yeah, that one's longer than all the rest. Now if you notice, there is your trigger spring right there. Nothing special, just a little pull spring that goes in there. The only thing that's left is your safety plunger. Right in here you can see it underneath there. That's your safety detent, your plunger. If you want that out of there, what you need to do is just be ready to capture it. Since the detent is right there, and the detent's going to want to come out this way. I'm going to put this right here and angle it. I'm going to keep my finger on there, and I'm just going to punch this through. Doesn't want to punch that way. We'll see if it'll punch this way. It's on pretty good. And notice I'm just barely tamping. I've not pulled this particular one apart before, so that's why I'm doing it the way that I am, because I've not seen it I've not seen one of these. So the next step, and some of you guys that are Western Field pros will probably be screaming, "Oh no, what are you doing? Blasphemy!" What we'll do is go right in. I need to get me a little scribe. And we're going to go in from the end. Either one. And you want to get that scribe up underneath your detent. And by doing that, you'll get it where you can push that button down more. See right there. Now I'm just going with my thumb so I capture everything. Push it in a little bit farther. There's the detent. Want to get that spring out of there. Now there's your two different springs. One's the trigger spring and one's the detent spring. The detent spring looks to be a little bigger. You could probably interchange them and it wouldn't matter. But you see right here, that's what we were past. Whenever I was trying to tap it one way or the other, it was on these 90-degree ledges and it just couldn't come loose. And that's why you just tap. Because sometimes on things like that, once everything else is out, you can tap them on past the detent. On this one, there was no way of knowing, so I tried it and just barely tapped on it. So then go about it the other way. So now we'll put all this stuff in the ultrasonic cleaner, get it cleaned up, and then we'll put it back together. Went ahead and tapped that out. Pin there. Just wanted to get it out. That way I had everything apart. And whenever you line all these pins up, they are not like pins. You have different sizes there, just so you know. We'll go over these whenever we go to put them back together, but you do have different sizes. We've got our trigger group. You see it's kind of rough looking. I'm going to use some birchwood casey, Aluma Black. This is a 2000 grit sandpaper. And the shiny places, I just want to scuff those up where there may be any oxidation on them. I'll zoom in here a little bit so you'll be able to see the difference. Like right there. And it's okay if I take some of the existing black paint off of there, that coating that's on there. And I'm not trying to refurbish this or get rid of all the marks or anything like that. Just wanting it to go back looking a little better than it came to me. There's a little oxidation on the paint. There we go. Get the Aluma Black. I'm a fan of just go ahead and coat it all. At least on this one, I mean, I could have just done a little touch up to the areas that were silver and that'll be fine, but this way if there's any area that is exposed that would turn dark with the Aluma Black, it has the chance to here. And I found that every once in a while that I find aluminums that just don't want to turn, even after scuffing them up and everything. just find ones that don't want to turn at all. And I got something else to try on those before we go to the paint. We'll let that sit for just a minute and see if it turns. Areas that aren't really wanting to turn with that Aluma black. So this is just instant gun blue. Formula 4440. We get another Q-tip, and I've not rinsed any of the Aluma black off of there. We're just going to go straight over the top of it with the Formula 4440. And since this is an almost empty container of gun blue, I don't care to re-dip. You don't want to double dip your bluing container. Once you've taken like your Q-tip or your brush or whatever, and you've dipped it and it's touched whatever your project is, you don't want to dip it back in, because you're going to be transferring impurities back into your gun blue. And if you've got a brand new bottle of gun blue, well, you're going to cause that gun blue not to last as long as it possibly could have. We're going to just rub that in. Some of the areas that are a little deeper that don't want to take, rub them again. And if it does, whatever doesn't take from this, after I have rinsed it, I'll show you the next step to take. Your last and final step, if none of the other ones work, is you get you just a paint pen. This is not the preferred method, but it sure does work. It just lets you fill in the low spots. If you really want to get crazy with it, you can go in here with your paint pen and you can give it a good once over. Just make sure that you get all your areas filled in. Now, if you want to, you can leave it like that. Actually, not half bad. But what I'm going to do here is wipe it back down. by wiping it down, it's not going to look like it was just painted. It's not going to look great, but that's the point. It's going to look withered and used just like the rest of the gun, but it's not going to have the bright spots from the nicks on the aluminum. Now once this is dried, I'll take frog lube and go over it, and it'll even some of that out, and we'll be ready to put it back together. Alright, right here I've got all of the pins, nothing in there but pins. This thing has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pins, and then it's got a roll pin that you add in. We know the roll pin went up front, so we don't have to worry about that. Alright, the shortest one out of them all was in the back. Now what I'm doing here, I just stuck these all in. You can take them all, lay them out, and put them in by process of elimination. You have got, let's see here, I'll turn this around here. There is this one down here that this one's got a little bit of a head on it. You can see there. And that was the one that retained this spring. And you'll see that here in a little bit. So, there's that one out of there. You've got this one here, and this one, that are pretty much interchangeable, and they're pretty much the same size. Now if your gun is used, you'll notice the one that goes up here has a lot of wear marks on it. The one that goes down here on the bottom, down here, it's only going to have just a couple little wear marks right in the middle where it was nicked. So that's how you can tell them apart, but they are interchangeable. They do measure out the same. You're better off to put the same ones back where they went though. Then you've got your next group of like pins. That one and that one. You can see here where they're coming from. Right there. And right there. And those could be interchangeable. Neither one of them really have much loading on them or anything to speak of, so we'll call them interchangeable. We have our hammer pin, which is self-explanatory because it's the largest in diameter. And then our trigger pin, and the trigger pin is the longest. So, we'll zoom in on the pins here in a second. Got my outline there of what my handle is going to look like, so I grind it down to match. There's the general front shape. We'll clean it up some later. There I've dress that up and ground it out. Now I'm going to cut what's left. Try a different way here. Here's the charging handle that I fashioned up here. We'll see. It'll be blued. It should work just fine. There we go. There we go. All right. All right, we'll blue it. After a tempering, this is a little different bluing that I've been experimenting with. It's kind of my own concoction. Gives a little bit of a iridescent color, but it's not a hot niter bluing.